Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is my sheep heart. This is the anterior side. This is the posterior side. The pericardium would be this little sac that goes around the heart. The epicardium is the lining of the outside of the heart. You have the base, which is this side, and the apex, which is this side. This is your right auricle and your left auricle. So this would be your left ventricle and your right ventricle. And the pulmonary trunk is this vessel right here. And then here's your superior vena cava, this one right here, and your inferior. And this right here is your aorta. Okay, and I lost it.
Do you need some help?
Okay, yeah, I need that to go back to my list.
Do you need to go down at all?
Well, go back to that one. It shows the lab instructions. Scroll down.
Oh.
I need to know exactly how to cut it. Okay, stop. Okay. Insert it into the right atrium. What's this? How do you go? Pulmonary trunk. This is your pulmonary trunk. Across the pulmonary trunk with scalpel. The pulmonary similar valve. So okay, so there's your pulmonary semilunar valve right there, and it goes into so it goes right atrium, pulmonary trunk, and then it goes your pulmonary semilunar valve into the right atrium. Okay. Now I need to I don't know how to cut it. Okay, so we are going to, I don't know how to cut it. It doesn't say. I'm sorry, little sheep. Okay. So, your right atrium and your right ventricle is going to be, here's a better look at it. Well, yeah, here's your right atrium and your right ventricle, and then, because it's smaller, and then your left ventricle. Oh. No, this is left atrium, mitral valve, left ventricle, your right atrium with your tricuspid valve, and your right ventricle. And the aorta. I missed it all together. The aorta. Anyways, so yeah, you have your tricuspid valve in the right, separating the right atrium from the right ventricle that I can't see. And then you have your bicuspid or your mitral valve with the chordae tendineae and your papillary muscle separating the right atrium, left atrium, left ventricle. And then you have your aortic semilunar valve, which is, here's your aorta. So your aortic semilunar valve would be right here. If I had got the sheep's heart correctly, it goes between the right ventricle and, the left ventricle and the aorta. And it goes out to the body. And then you have your pulmonary semilunar valve, which I already discussed being right there. And then blood flows in the heart through the inferior and superior and inferior vena cava into the right atrium, and then through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. And then it goes out the pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, pulmonary trunk, and goes to the lungs. And then it goes, once it's oxygenated, it goes back in through the pulmonary pulmonary vein into the left ventricle, through the mitral valve or the bicuspid, and then through the left ventricle out the aorta, through the aortic semilunar valve. And that's how deoxygenated blood goes through the heart and becomes oxygenated blood. Thank you.